Let's go with Kojima.
Oh, Kojima. Never change.
Oh, Kojima. Yeah, never change. So this was, at the time of recording, this was kind of doing the rounds yesterday. By the time you hear this, maybe the story's completely changed. Who the fuck knows? But essentially, there was a banner update, PlayStation Studios banner update that was going around that removed the concrete genie dude, the dude in the beanie, and replaced it with
shame.
yeah, real shame. An actual
Well, why
PlayStation
not?
exclusive, yeah. And replaced it with Norman Reedus and his BB.
Hilarious.
And that got some outlets to be like, oh, is this like, imminently teasing an acquisition? Because yes, acquisitions are now teased, even though they're not technically legally meant to be. But anyway, many other outlets kind of ignored it because, well, it's just a banner update. PlayStation actually owns the Death Stranding IP. So this doesn't actually mean anything. Yeah, they own it. They didn't publish it on PC, but they own the IP. So it doesn't actually mean shit, really. But then things got real weird when late in the evening, Kojima just tweeted that banner.
Straight up himself,
and people
like, yo.
Cool. Yeah, that means, whatever. He quickly followed that up in another tweet, which read, translated, says, I seem to have invited misinterpretation, but Kojima Productions has been and will continue to be an independent production studio.
Well, nothing like
a little... PlayStation purchasing Kojima Productions? I don't think so.
Kojima does shit like this on purpose. I mean, you have to think.
Of course he does.
My favorite Kojima moment was years ago when we were working for Lazy Gamer. I did an article because there was all this hype about Kojima teasing a collection. We're like, oh, is this the Metal Gear Solid collection? What is it? Turned out it was just a collection of new fashion items, a new fashion range.
I do remember
so
that.
I'm
actually.
like, this dude is completely self-aware how much, clout he has. I don't know. It seems weird to me that he just tweets this. He goes, oh, yeah, sorry. Misunderstanding.
Soz completely misinterpreted me.
What did you think? Of course, it's just the banners. Like, oh, you son of a bitch.
Like, listen, I sort of get it. Like, all the other games on this banner are exclusives first and foremost, but they also represent one of the studios that Sony owns. So you've got like Polyphony, Asobu, Bend, Gorilla, Bluepoint, etc. Death Stranding is the only one from a studio that PlayStation Studios doesn't own, but PlayStation owns the IP to that game. So,
but what boggles my mind of this banner is that we have MLB The Show here, which is no longer an exclusive.
Not an exclusive, but it is produced by Sony. Yeah.
It's just,
it's weird. So,
I can't believe they gave up a concrete genie guy for this random baseball player.
But this is also the thing. They omit so many studios on here. So you don't have representation from Fire Sprite. You don't have anything from, oh God, now I've just blanked on the name. Who are the Little Big Planet devs and the Dream devs? Media Molecule.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not all encompassing. So I think... Listen, I think a lot of people jumped the gun. I think also, 2 or 3 weeks ago, there were those rumors that Sony was, on the verge of announcing a big acquisition that just never happened. That acquisition might still be happening. Maybe it's just a timing thing, whatever. For what it's worth, industry journalist Jeff Grubb, who very often doesn't leak things, but he reports on these sorts of things. He was one of the people who initially said that he had heard of an acquisition rumor like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And yesterday on his show on Giant Bomb, he basically said that acquisition rumor that he had heard of was not for Kojima Productions. It was actually for a bigger studio.
Oh my.
And that he had heard nothing about Kojima Productions. The only thing he had heard about Kojima Productions is that their deal for an exclusive with Xbox is still on the table.
Huh.
So, like... You can't have one
and
not the other. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Sony's buying From Software. Can confirm. You heard it, Chef.
Bandai Namco would greatly step in to stop that, I think.
Sorry, Sony's buying Bandai Namco. You heard it here
Wow.
first.
Okay. Huge. Huge.
Well, in let's just tick that piece of news off. The Elden Ring speedrun record is now less than 7 minutes.
I feel like every day this changes. I feel like
It
even by the
does,
time
because
this comes out, this will be old news.
at the beginning of this week, it was 9 minutes, and then like 2 days later, 3 days later, same dude, under 7 minutes.
Oh, is it the same guy?
Yeah.
Okay. That makes a bit more sense.
And I know I obviously haven't watched the whole run for spoiler purposes, but I did watch the first minute just for interest sake, and ridiculous. This is one of those runs where they just glitch through the game completely. So yeah.
Oh, okay. So, okay. Well, obviously, a 7-minute run is not like a
just
all bosses run, but
exactly.
yeah.
Holy shit! Now that I want to see.
Well, I mean, you said there's only what 4 or 5 main bosses, so
that I know of, I think it's five or so, like main bosses. Yeah.
I did see that. I mean, this is tangential, but someone speedrun, quote unquote speedrun. They managed to finish Dark Souls 3 without walking. How?
So my understanding is that there's an ability you get in the game, which basically, like, it's almost like a forward step. It's like a dodge. I think they only used that throughout the game.
Interesting.
Yeah,
so walking
loophole.
in inverted commas, really.
Exactly. Look, hats off
I
to
would
them,
still
because
count a dodge as a walk.
yeah, well, I don't know. I haven't watched it myself, but still. In other news,
Do you think we'll get down to like a sub 3-4 minute
with this run?
Speedrun?
From what I've seen, I think
eventually there must be a wall that they just hit.
Yeah, so my understanding is that they're using a technique called zip lining or zipping or something, where there's a very specific animation that they do, which is frame specific, that forces them to like travel a great distance in a short period of time. But pulling that off, there's human error involved. So this run will keep getting better, you know, as long as this runner keeps getting better at replicating that specific movement. So if they could obviously pull them off like flawlessly, I'm sure the run will get down to like 5, 6, whatever minutes. I haven't watched the whole thing.
But then that's the sort of wall that they hit.
That's the wall, but
because
yeah. But then you wonder, like, will that ever be possible? Because this teleporting thing is done numerous times. So unless you're going to pull it off, you know,
listen,
10 out of 10 times.
We've seen like Super Mario Brothers 1, you know, times broken years after the fact, when people are like, nah, it's impossible. You cannot shave any more seconds off of this.
And
I think eventually
life finds a way. Life
finds a way.
In other news, let's bounce to just quick CD Projekt stuff. Cyberpunk 2077's expansion is coming in 2023. Yeah,
This came from their earnings. They had like a big earnings thing. Yeah. I saw that they said that most of the fixing work for Cyberpunk 2077 was done, and that a lot of the team had moved on to new projects. And, you know, one of those projects is the actual expansion, which is out next year. And then one of the other ones is they've brought back in so The Witcher 3 is getting like PS5, Xbox Series X versions, like ray tracing and all of that. And that was initially outsourced actually to Saber Interactive.
I did not know that.
Yeah, reportedly it was an office of Saber that was in Russia, which may be part of why this is now suddenly in-house again.
Yeah.
But essentially, CD Projekt Red earlier this week said that they've taken up the project in-house, and they are evaluating now, based on, you know, the work that they received, how much time they'll need to complete it. So they cannot commit to the Q2 window anymore. But they do stress that it's not delayed indefinitely. They said in the earnings call.
This article says versions delayed indefinitely. That's
that was updated like late yesterday. It was part of the day. It was like in a Q&A that they updated and said, it's not indefinitely. It's sort of like, you know, like if you've received like a half-baked cake you
Yeah.
kind of need a moment to be like, how long is this actually going to
Gotta
take me?
gotta
Still,
let
I
it
need to
set.
figure out. Yeah. So that sucks because I've been actively putting off a replay of The Witcher 3 because
For
I'm
this,
waiting for
yeah.
the patch. Yeah. So yeah. But it is interesting that they say, obviously, CD Projekt Red said that they are working on a new Witcher game that is going to be utilizing Unreal Engine 5. They mentioned that the Molasses Flood, a studio that they purchased not super long ago, who
Oh,
made The Flame in the
I
Flood.
had no idea that they bought them.
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
They're working on a game, an unannounced game. They are busy working on a single player portion to Gwent, which is weird because I thought Thronebreaker was that. So
But
maybe
there's
this is
another
a
one.
new one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they do mention that they're doing research and production for unannounced projects.
Okay.
So they are busy.
Lots going on there.
Yeah.
Cool. Speaking of games being announced, we weren't even talking about that. Kingdom Hearts 4 announced.
Wow, this thing came out of fucking
I
nowhere,
did
didn't
not.
it?
I mean, I know very little about Kingdom Hearts, but I almost thought 3 like wrapped things up, and we wouldn't see it for a long time.
I was awake on a Sunday with a fever, and I just looked at Twitter and it was like Kingdom Hearts 4, and I'm like, am I dying?
Am I?
Like, is
This
this a fever dream?
Yeah,
Like, what's going on?
Amazing.
And it was like so quick. I think I saw friend of the show, or just friend. I actually don't know if he listens, but Umar he tweeted like a mural out which had a missing piece, and he's like, surely that piece is Kingdom Hearts 4, and I was like, that is the first time I've ever heard of Kingdom Hearts 4 spoken about seriously. And it was literally like 2 or 3 hours later, it was like the announcement. I was like, what just happened?
Yeah,
Like,
it's Kingdom Hearts 4 has grapple hooks now. Now this is where I come
Sora
in.
is in the modern world.
Fighting.
He's traded in his clown shoes.
Fighting a banker in this image over here.
I mean, could be.
It could be. But this is the most exciting part about this. Okay, so side trip here quickly. Kingdom Hearts, I think I'd love the games. Okay, I know they're full of nonsense, but put Disney and Square Enix together, how can you not have a good time? The most exciting part of this is that Kingdom Hearts 4 has been confirmed now. Okay, and there was an Nvidia leak. I don't know if I can get a picture of that up quickly. There's an Nvidia leak. Here we go, with a whole list of things. Okay, some of which we've since seen. So like a good recent example is that this list has Chrono Cross Remaster, which is like an old game, which has now happened. It's out. You can play it. Kingdom Hearts 4's on here. What else was there? There's a couple things. There's
Crisis 4 was announced.
But specifically more Square Enix stuff.
Crisis 4 was announced. I'm just looking at the thing there.
Untitled Respawn game, Bioshock.
Resident Evil 4 Remake is heavily rumored. Like, of course, that's definitely going to be there.
That's, yeah.
Grand Theft Auto Remasters happened.
So yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
A new Bioshock is happening.
Yeah.
Untitled Respawn game is happening. They've confirmed that.
So
there's things on this list that still don't make sense. Like Titanfall 3 doesn't make sense because Respawn has literally said they are not working on that.
That's what they want you to think.
Explicitly being like, that is not something we're working on.
That's what they want you to think.
And like, another one like Injustice 3 doesn't make sense in line with Mortal Kombat at the same time.
Just at the same time.
So, but the rest seem more plausible. Street Fighter 6 happened.
Yep.
Got announced.
So, but on the Square Enix side of things, so we've had a few things happen. I don't think the list has this, but wasn't Final Fantasy VII Remake on this list, or am I imagining? No.
I'm not sure.
No. Okay, maybe I imagine. Maybe that was my fever dream. But this list also has a Final Fantasy Tactics remaster and a Final Fantasy IX remake.
Listen, I think a Final Fantasy Tactics remaster is 100%.
It has to happen, yeah.
Because I mean, Square's gone so into these tactics 2D games lately.
Yeah.
Like, why would they not remaster that? Well, I mean, they announced a new one just the other day, wasn't it? During that Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, we've just had Triangle Strategy launch, and there's plenty.
Oh, what's that one? The Doffield Chronicles or whatever. Some fucking weird.
Something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this Kingdom Hearts 4 reveal has
But Final Fantasy IX Remake, Matthew.
has led to this list resurfacing. And let me tell you, Final Fantasy IX, one of the most underrated Final Fantasies. I would
Let me tell
not
you,
say
the only
no.
thing I know about Final Fantasy IX, it has the Jawa of the Final Fantasy universe.
Vivi, the black
And
mage.
the mage with the glowy eyes, he looks like a Jawa.
Mm-hmm. So if that
Does
happens,
he also speak in Jawa language?
no. Well, there's no there's no voice acting in those games.
So
yeah,
you just imagine that's how he
you
talks.
just imagine. I hope that's how he talks. Cool. So there's all of that.
So that's cool. I think a lot of those things on the list are pretty safe bets as well. Like, like a new Bioshock we know is in development.
A new Monster Hunter, get out.
Yeah, I mean they've actually been well, at least Bioshock has been confirmed. Like they haven't revealed it, but they've said we're working on a new Bioshock. So yeah. And like, of course, there was always going to be a Street Fighter 6. There was always going to be a new Mortal Kombat. The big ones that are weird are like Crisis 4. Would not have called that, and the Chrono Cross remaster, and now Kingdom Hearts 4 so early. Would not have guessed that.
Would not have guessed that. Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows?
There is one game on that list that is super not happening. Yeah. I will record this, clip it. I don't care. I will eat a whole lemon if this happens. But a Mirror's Edge remaster, it is not happening. There is no fucking way that is happening.
Please
EA
let it happen.
literally gave a sequel to that game because people wouldn't shut up about it, myself included, and that game sold abysmally. Like, there is no way they were dipping back into that well. I
cannot wait for you to eat a lemon.
I will eat a lemon.
My goodness. Okay, and the last pieces of news in legal news. Sony and Nintendo update their gaming subscription auto-renewals after a UK investigation.
Didn't this happen a while ago? No, it didn't. I thought, for some reason, maybe I read that they were investigating it, not that they changed.
So, have you ever had your PS Plus auto-renew? I know I have, a full year, unexpected. My poor wallet cried. So I think, what is this?
It's basically, isn't it the same authority that said, like, if you haven't used that subscription in 2 years, they have to automatically deactivate the auto renewal or something like that?
It just says Sony has agreed to put in place measures to protect customers who haven't used their memberships for a long time but are still paying.
It's good. I think it's good. Like, there's a literal market for apps that do this for you because companies are so like lax with just taking your money. And to an extent, yes, it is your responsibility to be responsible for your own money. But some oversight like this is welcome. So yeah.
Cool. And then in other disgusting legal news, a California governor was accused of interfering to support Activision Blizzard in state discrimination lawsuit.
Yeah. That is some real... Well, I mean, firstly, one of the suits against Activision was settled for, what, $18 million, which seems like...
It's baby change.
Not a lot. Yeah. Especially since there's so many people that need to benefit from that settlement, that it's like not tons. And now the actual bigger one, which is... So that was the federal investigation, if I'm not mistaken. This is the state one. This is the big one. And now you've got like a senator putting pressure on the legal team behind, investigating Activision to the point where part of the legal team or the lead legal counsels resigned. That's like, wow. Good thing they're all Democrats and the good guys. And
nice. Yeah, it's
no politicians are good guys. That's all I'm saying. No. I'm not saying either side is better than the other. I think they're all just equally shady. Shit. Yeah.
Shady business. But on that bombshell.
So it says here, reported by Bloomberg, the Assistant Chief Counsel for California's Department of Fair Employment, Melanie Proctor, has quit her role in protest after California Governor Gavin Newsom abruptly fired the agency's boss, Chief Counsel Janet Whipper. A representative for the two attorneys has confirmed the firing and resignation to Bloomberg. So, like, the governor came out and said, this is all bullshit, but, like, your chief counsel is saying, I I left in protest of what this guy's doing. So like, cool. According to Proctor, the governor and his office abruptly terminated Whipper after she attempted to protect the agency's independence following the alleged interference. A spokesperson for Whipper said she is now evaluating all avenues of legal recourse, including a claim under the California Whistleblower Protection Act.
Sure. Just shake.
Yeah, it keeps getting weird, eh? Microsoft
your...
really chose. They were like, "Cool, we want to get involved in this. We want
Yeah, I
some
wonder,
of this shit."
but I wonder how does Microsoft get involved here? Because obviously they're acquiring them.
They're not allowed to. They literally cannot touch this until that deal goes through.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hectic.
Because that is even more of a breach of. They are not allowed to intervene in Activision affairs when they do not own Activision.
Sure.
Because that could be seen as meddling with, stock price and stuff like that.
But
so, yeah.
surely, could Phil Spencer, for example, someone not come out and say like they can't believe this happened? Or they strongly, yeah, okay. What a time to be alive.
Yeah, what a time.
Well,
that's news.
Yeah,
I think.
on that bombshell.
Yeah. On that bombshell, that is news.